are we? Hello, Attorney Rolando Bernales. I do not know actually how to call you, attorney or doc, because you're also a doctor of education. How do you want me to address you, sir?
I'm not one who is very particular about titles.
Mm,
So at work, people call me Sir Bernie.
Sir Bernie.
So tayo naman,
We're
since we are friends, you
friends.
can just call me Bernie.
But if your friend, if you are aware that your friend is well decorated, definitely you can't help but to think of the most appropriate title to address to the person. But the reason why I included you in my conversation with Sir Dos is that because I know you are a very interesting character. A lot of people know you. You're very popular. You are multi-talented. You are, I mean, you are such a very smart, witty person. And I know that a lot of people will definitely learn from your life. They will learn from your wisdom. They will learn from your katarayan and everything.
I certainly hope so.
Yes, sir. And I prepared. I mean, some of the questions that I'll be asking are not the usual questions being asked on you. I know you've been invited to different talks, different seminars, and of course, more often than not, the questions that they ask you are related mostly to what you're talking about and to your profession.
Mhm.
But this one, I want my subscribers to know more about you
Oh,
deeper.
sure, sure.
Okay, so sir, let's start. Mm, who 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 was Rolando Bernales when he was in the primary and secondary school?
Well, when I was in the primary school, I was a struggling kid because we I came from a poor family. Although the school is a public school, and most of the students uh, were poor, but as a kid, you would often compare yourself to your classmates. Like, for example, uh, why would my seatmate would have a crayon when my parents could not afford to buy me one?
Mhm.
So when I was in my primary years at school, it was very much difficult, and because of that, I had to compensate what I lack with more study hours.
Mm.
So early on in my life, I already knew that I had to excel academically for me to be able to compensate for what we lack financially.
So when you graduated from the grade school, sir, or Sir Burns, were you the valedictorian?
No, no, no. When I was in elementary, I did not graduate with honors.
Oh, really?
Although every year I would receive awards for academic achievements, for academic performance. Because when I was in elementary, uh, in grade one, I started in grade one as a saling pusa, meaning to say I was not supposed to be enrolled in that class because I was
Mm.
too young. Remember when we were in our elementary, the entry age was 7,
7.
but I was only 6 years old then.
Oh, okay.
And all my playmates in our compound were already going to school. So I was the only one who was left behind. And I would cry to my mother because, I had no playmates to play with. So my mother brought me to school and requested one teacher to accommodate me in class as a saling pusa,
Saling
meaning to
pusa.
say not really a an unenrolled student, unenrolled
Oh,
pupil.
okay.
But after after a few weeks, the teacher told me that she wanted to speak to my mother, And so my mother was very much worried because she thought I did something wrong. And so
Mm.
the following day, she went to our school and spoke to our teacher. And, she was surprised to learn uh, that the teacher secured permission from the principal to have me enrolled officially, belatedly, because, apparently I was doing well in class.
Okay.
But I was in section 13. I remember that very clearly. I
So
was
so
in
many
section 13.
sections. Oh,
Meaning to say that's the last section.
last section.
That's the last section. And then when I was in grade 2, I was promoted to grade 5. Sorry, grade 2, I was
Section
promoted to section 5.
5.
And when I was in
Big
grade
increment.
3, I was promoted to section 4. And then grade 4, I was promoted to section 3. When I was in grade 5, I was promoted to section 2. And when I was in grade 6, I was promoted to section 1.
Oh,
So I
okay.
was not a member of the cream of the crop
The
from,
so-called pilot class
yeah,
from
for,
the
I
early
was not a
on.
member of the pilot class
Mm.
for the past 5 years. So I did not qualify for the honor roll.
Okay. So when you entered secondary school, when you entered high school, was it in the same school or in
No,
another
no, no, no.
school?
I enrolled high school in another public school in Makati also, where I grew up. Uh, then I started again from a lower section until, in second year, I became a member of the
Okay. So in high school, that's
section
where
A.
you were when you graduated from high school, that's where you got like valedictorian or
No,
salutatorian.
no, no, no. When I was in high school, my attention was divided because you know, no, in high school I enjoyed very much doing extracurricular activities.
Yeah. Yeah, because
That's
you're so talented.
that's when I started, discovering talent in writing, dancing. So I did a lot of
Performing.
in high school. I remember one time when I did not attend one class because I had to prioritize an extracurricular activity. And when I went back to the class, the teacher said, yung grade mo sumasayaw din. Meaning to say, my grade, because I attended the program and I had to dance during the program. So the teacher was very mad at me, and she
Mm,
said that your grade will also be dancing.
okay. So, but sir, as early as high school, you were already uh, aware of the path that you're treading. I mean, you
No, no, no,
enrolled at
no, no.
PNC that time, right? It was still
Yes.
PNC. So, was it really your first choice to take up education, or what happened?
No. When I finished high school, or when I was in fourth year high school, I wanted to do a lot of things. One, I wanted to become a doctor, so I wanted to pursue BS biology as a pre-med.
Mm,
I also wanted to write, so I wanted to enroll in a private school in journalism for me to be
mm.
able to pursue a career along that line. Uh, what else?
Performance,
I also
performances.
no, I also
Because you're a
wanted
good
to pursue
director,
political
sir. Mm,
science.
mm. Okay. Political science.
Yeah, but my when I asked my parents where I would want to enroll, when I told my parents that I wanted to pursue these courses, my father told me, and these were his exact words,
Mm.
pwede naman, pero hindi na tayo kakain.
Oh, okay.
And so, and so I enrolled, I took the entrance exam at the Philippine Normal University, Philippine Normal College then, with half-heartedly.
Mm.
I did not want to become a teacher. I
Really?
did not want to study at the Philippine Normal College. I did not want to pursue education as my course. But no, now looking back, uh, PNU became a stepping stone for me to be able to do the things that I really like.
Yeah. And no, the irony of it all, you were not really intending to take up education. And look at you, now one of the finest educators that we have. So that's nice. And so basically, sir, when you were in PNC or PNU, that's where you really what do you call that?
Excel
Yeah, that's
academically. You know
yeah.
what? Because my frustrations in elementary, in high school, academically, became the driving force for me to do well academically while balancing activities in in co-curricular
Yeah. And
domain.
I heard you were very active in the student council, and knowing the
Yes.
student council in PNU, the student activism is strong, right? So could you please share something a bit about your being a student leader?
Well, when I was in second year, I joined a political party in PNU called Kamag-Aral. Uh, so when I was in second year also, I ran for a position in the student council in PNU, and that's how I became active in activism
Mm,
at that time. I also got involved with a non-government organization outside the school. The organization is called KASAPI o
kasapi.
Kasandigan ng Pilipinas.
Mm.
And
So yeah, so sir, why many people are asking about this because they know that a certain attorney Bernales is such a very smart person, a very intelligent person, witty, very articulate as well. Why of all subjects, why Filipino as a major?
uh, when I was in PNU again, no, I wanted to major in a lot of things. I wanted to take up English as my major subject. I wanted to take up social science as a major subject.
Mm,
I also wanted to take up biology as a major subject. But at that time, Filipino as a discipline was encountering a sort of discrimination. People
mm,
would say, Filipino major kasi hindi siya marunong mag-English.
yeah.
No, a lot of people would discriminate Filipino majors. So one of the reasons why I majored in Filipino was to prove that Filipino majors can also excel in in
A
other
lot
subjects.
of yeah, which you were
So
able to prove, sir.
I think so.
Which actually you were one of those Filipino majors who are really very articulate also in the use of the English language and who are very philosophical, logical. So I mean, you really changed that perception for towards Filipino major. So that's why
Also
Filipino.
another reason was that was my being a staff writer for the student publication for the Torch. I wrote for our student publication in Filipino,
Mm,
so that's why I thought it would be it would be uh, a nice way to hone my talent in writing in Filipino if I would major
yeah, and then
in
you ended up cum laude. Mm-mm.
yes,
Mm-mm.
yes.
Okay, now let's talk about where I first met you.
Yes.
At the search for the 10 outstanding students of the Philippines. Okay, I
Yes.
could still remember when the first time I saw you in PSED Hostel. We were at PSED
Uh-huh.
Hostel right in UP. We were asked to introduce ourselves, and everybody introduced themselves. I mean, in English, right? And then when you were called, you spoke straight Filipino, and everybody was in awe. Everybody was
Really?
shocked. Everybody was surprised. Wow. I mean, what was were you really intending to introduce yourself in that way, in that medium? Or it was just so natural of you?
Yeah, one, it was natural for me to speak in Filipino. Secondly, I knew then that I was in a competition, I was in a contest. So I thought of a way for me to stand
To
out.
be
And since
noticed.
you
and
notice,
and
and
you
I have
succeeded.
also noticed that everybody spoke in in English. No, one way of standing out from the crowd is
Mhm.
being different.
Yeah. And sir, did you
And I
see it?
think I think it was effective
Yeah, that's
because
true.
when eventually when the TOSP were choosing someone who would
You
deliver the
were
speech,
chosen, right? You were the
no,
one
I was
who
chosen to do
delivered
the
the.
speech because they wanted the speech to be in Filipino.
Yeah, that's why. And actually, that I mean, that very moment, no, when you after you introduce yourself, your name became a byword among the 31. I mean, that among the 31 TOSP, and then that's where I approach you, right? Remember, I mean, uh,
Yeah.
the other one is Rex Haimali, and we were the ones who were together, and the other one from Cebu, who was that? Jimmy. Uh, I forgot his name, the one from Cebu. Okay, but anyway, I'm so sorry. Okay, so did you see it coming that you were? Because I felt that time that we were like Miss Universe candidate. We were, housed in
Yeah.
the hostel, in the hotels, etc. So during the interview, I could still remember. We were in the same category, right? Education and all. You know, that time your name was already making a ring because people were talking about you and I was hearing it. No, there were some officials also were like talking about you in the toilet. You didn't know this.
Yeah, yeah, I did not.
After the interview, I went to the toilet, and then the two judges were there, and they were talking about you. So that time, I felt you would really win. Did you see it coming that you would make it in the top 10?
No, 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 no.
Why?
Although I prayed very hard because I did not, no, because my insecurities would kick in once in a while then,
Mm,
because I knew I was up against students from private schools,
mm,
schools that I would only dreamed of studying in,
mm,
and I knew I was up against people you know who excelled more academically than me or who did more in extracurricular domains than me. So I did not see it coming, although I prayed very hard for it
mm.
because when I graduated in PNU, I was I was a bit frustrated or disappointed because I did not get the award that I was hoping to get,
Which was?
the student leader of the year. Yes,
Okay.
the student leader of the year went to another one, o- but I fought for it. I applied for the award. I felt I deserved it better than anyone else
Mm,
because I did student council and I did the torch.
mm,
I did publication. I also did theater. I also I did YMCA. I did a lot uh, of things as a student leader. Not only did I excel in PNU, I would like to believe that I also excelled
mm.
outside the school. And
Yeah.
as a student leader, you have to bring your leadership not only within your community but also outside
Mm,
your community because I felt then that a student leader must have an impact within and without,
yeah.
and as early as second year in college, that was an award that I was gunning for.
Mm,
But the selection committee
yeah.
felt that the award should go to another person, and so I was
But yeah,
disappointed.
but being selected as one of the 10 is already
But
actually a vindication.
but but when the school sent representative for the TOSP,
Mm.
I was the second choice.
Really?
Yeah,
Hmm.
of course, the logical choice would be the student leader, the
Okay.
student leader awardee.
Unfortunately, he didn't make it, or he
Yeah,
or she didn't
he
make
did
it,
not
right?
make it in the set semifinals,
Mm.
the finalists.
Yeah.
So I
That.
was the one who made it, and so I felt that I should win this award for me to have some sort of vindication.
Yeah, which it happened,
Yeah.
which really happened, right? So, but during the search, sir, you were already starting to report for teaching in University of Makati?
Yes, yes. I was already teaching in University of Makati. I
Okay.
started there on June 13, 1989.
Okay, I see. So during the search, so you were given permission, of course, by University of Makati to attend to the
Yes,
activities,
yes.
right? And then when you won, what did the University of Makati do? Did they have like a sort of a program to
No, nothing like
recognize
that.
you?
Nothing like that because we were the revival batch,
Yeah.
and not many people knew then
Mm.
how big the award was.
Okay. Okay.
So
And said,
there
sir.
was nothing of that sort. So although
Mm.
many people congratulated me
Yeah.
for
And sir, you stayed too long in University of Makati. You became one of the what do you call this? One of the haligis
that.
of University of Makati, right? Na parang if people would I mean the name Rolando Bernales is always associated with University of Makati even up to now. I mean, right? So what made you decide to stay that long in University of Makati where in fact you could have explored in other universities.
Well, the people, the friends I had in UMAC, in University of Makati. When I finished college, uh, I I told myself that I would only give myself 5 years in 5 years teaching, and I would pursue my dream, to become something else, a writer, a doctor, you know. The, I wanted to pursue my original dreams. So I thought I would only stay for 5 years in University of Makati as a public school teacher, but I stayed longer because of the people
Mhm.
that I became friends with.
Yeah. And then in the course of your stay in University of Makati, you assumed different positions, right?
Yes, yes.
So what were these positions that you
So, yeah, the first one was the head of the Filipino department.
mm,
Then I became the head of the Filipino department for many years, I think 7 or 8 years.
mm,
And then I became the head of the languages department because there was a year when the English and Filipino departments were fused into one.
mm,
So I became the head of the languages and literature department.
okay.
And then the last few years in UMAC, I was designated as the executive director for the Center for Innovative Education and
Mm, yeah,
Sciences and the concurrent head of the
okay. And
graduate
sir,
school.
yeah, and sir, in between, right? You were one of the best directors of pageants in
Yeah,
UMass. Yeah.
I
So
did.
what was it assigned to you, or you introduced such event to the school, and then eventually you were given the responsibility to
No,
direct it?
UMAC, I would direct pageants and plays in
Oh,
University
okay.
of Makati in the Bendia campus.
Yeah, I see.
So I think that was the reason why year in and year out the steering committee for the foundation celebration for University of Makati would assign me to
Yeah,
would assign me for those
because
activities.
when you invited me to sit as a judge, no, I mean, I really love the production. I mean, the choreography, the everything, the interproduction. So it was another side of you, which is really, something that people would really, that people remember you actually. Now, uh, you were very popular in Yuma, and people thought that you would spend your retiring days in Yuma. Why all of a sudden you left? And so what was the reason? Could you please share why you decided to leave Yuma for after so many years?
Well, one, not many people know this because you know that there is this side of me that I don't like people to see, that I don't like people to know.
Mm,
You are familiar with the Johari window.
Yeah.
I always keep a window to myself.
Yeah.
The, I don't like people to know. Like for example, like for example, family problems. The family problems is one of the things that I don't share with many people.
Mm.
At that time, you know, the reason why not many people know this, it's because that side of me. But you know, but because you are a friend of mine, I will. At that time, my father was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, sorry to hear
So
that.
it was a turning point in my life because my father wanted me to become a lawyer because it was his frustration in life. He wanted he wanted he wanted me to become a lawyer because when he was in college, he was pursuing political science. No, he was not able to finish college because uh, he was into cockfighting,
Mm.
sabong.
Yeah.
So, so he wanted me to pursue his dream of becoming a lawyer. And when he was
Okay.
very very sick, when he was already very sick, he told me that he wanted two things from me: to give him grandchildren or for me to become a lawyer, and for me to become a lawyer. And I told him, yung pangalawa na lang. Okay, I made the deal with him.
Mm.
I will not be able to give you grandchildren, but I will, will study law for you.
Okay.
So I enrolled in law school I think that was in 2007.
2007.
In 2007. So in my first year in law school, uh, I was still with UMAC. I was still the executive director of the center. I had difficulty balancing time because law school was very demanding. Law
Yeah.
school is still very demanding.
Yeah.
Law school requires a lot of reading hours.
Mm.
And I started law school at the age of 40. At that time, my
Mm.
memory was not anymore as sharp as when I was younger. I was competing with my classmates who were younger, had
Mm.
sharper memory, and had more time to read. And so when I was in my second year, I decided to go full time.
Okay. Was it not a difficult decision to make?
It was a difficult decision. I had to make a choice because my health was failing at that time.
Oh.
uh, I would get very sick very often because doing work and doing law
Yeah.
school at the same time took a toll on my
Traveling,
health.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it took a toll on my health.
Mm.
And so when I was confined in the hospital, the doctor interviewed me, and you know, he found out about my work and my law schooling, and he said, "You have to make a choice because the signs were clear. The signs are clear that this happened. You became very sickly since you started law school.
Yeah.
So you have to make a choice." He thought I would give up law school, but I gave up my work
Mm. And
because
sir, so
because
so
I felt at that time
uh,
time was running out for my father. I cannot anymore postpone law school.
okay. So when you were hospitalized, of course, your studies, your law has been set aside for quite some time, right?
No,
So
no, no.
uh,
I would absent myself for a week. When
mm,
I when would be confined in a hospital, I would absent myself for a week in law
okay.
school. It was very good then because our professors were very considerate of me because
Mm,
I was doing well in class.
okay,
Uh,
that's amazing, no? I mean, and then so prior to that, no, before you mentioned that you also wanted to take up political science. So really, you have that, in your heart, right? That you also
Yes.
wanted. So it's not something that you really force yourself to take, right?
Yes.
So when what were some of the struggles that you encountered as a law student? Because it's given you're a very good educator, a prolific educator, and then was it the same studying in a taking a PhD and taking up law? I mean, what's the difference between the two?
Very much different.
Oh,
In
really?
fact, in fact, I would even dare say that law schooling is 10 times more difficult than taking a PhD or EDD. The EDD, because the environment is very much different. One, the method of teaching is generally Socratic, meaning to say the professor asks the questions and the students would stand up and answer the questions, sometimes for 3 hours. And most of our discussions were case-based. So we would be assigned with 30 to 50 cases for discussions for the next meeting. And, and we would be called for recitation to discuss the cases and the legal principles and the laws and the application of the laws in specific cases. So it was very difficult. Although I already knew before I enrolled in law school, I already knew that that would be the environment
Yeah.
that I would be getting myself into.
Uh,
So it was not a surprise at all.
And Seth, when you, I mean, because every time they release the result of the bar examination, of course, only a small percentage of takers
Yes.
pass, right? What's your feeling when you saw your name that you're there, one of those who passed? I mean, where were you? What was? I mean, what scenario? I mean, I'm interested to find out.
To be honest, as a former professor, I knew that I did not do very well in the bar examination
Mm.
because after every day of exam, up, exam would be on a Saturday and on a Sunday. It was four, 4 weekends.
Mm.
So we had to take 8 examinations.
My gosh.
And every day after the exam, I would go home because we are allowed to bring with us the the examination,
Mm.
the questions.
Okay.
So I would research the correct answers
Okay.
and compare the correct answers with the answers that I wrote down on my examination booklet. So I would gauge my performance,
Mm.
and I felt I did not do very well in the bar
Really?
examination. I was already convinced that I would flunk the bar, that I informed my relatives, my sisters, my nephew and nieces, not to expect that I would pass the bar.
Mm.
I was very afraid of the results of the bar, that when the results were about to come out, I decided to leave the country.
Really?
Yeah, I
Oh.
went to the States. I went to
So you
America.
were you were in the United
Yeah,
States when the result
one
came
week.
out?
Oh yes, one
Oh,
week
really?
before the results came out, I went to the U.S. to hide
Mm.
because I felt I did not want people comforting me.
Mm.
I did not want people telling me it's okay because it is never okay to flunk the bar.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's a
So
good.
I went to the States one week before the results came out. And when I arrived in the US, my friends said, "Oh, the result of the bar is about to come out in the few days." And then I told him that the reason why I came here is because I'm not expecting to pass the bar. So I would appreciate it very much if you would not mention it again. And then he said, said, okay, I will not mention it again. So enjoy your vacation here. So which I did. I did try to enjoy my vacation, but at the back of my mind, that the thought of their souls coming out hovered.
Mhm.
It was there.
So, sir, who relayed to you the information?
The day the results came out, I was out the whole day in the States.
Mm.
I did shopping. I, my friend Emmy and I, Emmy
Yeah,
Dulay,
Miss
Emmy
Emmy.
Dulay and I, we went out shopping, because there's a time difference. I did not anymore, I was not able to monitor, that the results came out. I just knew that the results would come out on that day. So I kept myself busy. So that's why I asked her to go out, to go on shopping. So we went out the whole day. When we went back home, I left my cell phone.
Mm.
I did not bring my cell phone because I know I did not want to
Really?
about the results.
Mm.
I well anyway, I thought I knew that I would lock the bar. I did not want to receive any messages, especially comforting messages. So I left my cell phone at home. But before I slept, you know, s- I felt the urge to to
To check.
recharge. No, not really
To
to
charge.
recharge my cell
Oh,
phone. But
okay.
iPhone pala, when you recharge it, it would turn on automatically.
Oh,
So
okay.
I did not know that's how iPhone worked. And then I was surprised that my cell phone beat consecutively.
Mm.
And
Oh,
then
there were so many messages
yes,
from
so many
friends.
messages,
Oh,
so many notifications, more than 300 notifications.
oh my
And then I
gosh.
know more than 100 missed calls.
Oh my gosh.
And then the first message that I read was, congratulations.
Oh my gosh. Okay. And what
And
was the
I
feeling?
was on the second floor.
Mm. Mm.
When I read the word congratulations, my knee trembled. And I shouted at the top of my lungs, sabi ko, Maring Eni, Maring Eni.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
Somebody texted me. He said, congratulations. Is this true? Can you please read the message? Is this true? Then she said, it's true. Kanina pa namin alam. We
Oh
knew it
my
already.
gosh. Um,
Sabi, why did you not tell me? Because you told us not to mention the bar.
mm.
And
Such
we
wow,
wanted
no?
you to
Oh.
be the first one to know. We
Mm.
wanted you to know, to find it out.
So, so
Uh,
when you found it out, sir, who was the first person you replied or you responded out of the hundreds of messages who congratulated you?
my sister,
Which, okay.
my sister, because my sister called up. No, uh, she was crying and she wanted me to go home. I told her, wait a minute, uh, 1 week pa lang ako sa US. No, I was only in my 1 week in the US. My vacation was for 3 weeks. My flight back home would still be in another 2 weeks.
Mhm.
So wait a minute. Let me enjoy my vacation first.
Okay. So you did, of course, I think your vacation became more exciting and more memorable because you have that feeling.
Yes.
Oh, imagine. Oh.
And I went out shopping the following day to buy gifts. Uh, Gifts of gratitude for all the persons who helped me
Oh,
during
yeah.
those
Okay.
days.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice. And then para itong I mean as if you won the crown and then homecoming when you went back to the Philippines. So what was the I mean what was the celebration with the family, with
Yeah,
friends?
my family welcomed me at the airport. My friends were uh, we did belated celebration here. I did celebrate in the US with all my friends there, and all state that I went to, they did a celebration.
Oh, so
They prepared a
nice.
banquet for me in LA, in Rancho Cucamonga, in New York
Mm.
also.
So nice. And
Every
so,
state I went to, all the Filipino, all our Filipino friends there
friends.
prepared a banquet for me.
And sir, now no, you were aware now that then that you're lawyer, and then uh, what was the first plan that you had? Like I'm leaving the academe and then I'll focus in the field of law. What were your plans?
Convinced that I would plug the bar, my plan was to go back to the academy, which in fact I did already. When when I finished the bar exam, I went back to teaching. So I was hired in the National Teachers College.
So that was the time when you moved to National Teachers College along that time, right?
Yeah, that the time after taking the bar, because there was a waiting period. It would take 6 months for the results to come out,
Mm-mm. Okay. So,
and that was the plan to go back
okay.
to the academy. That's why when I came back here in the Philippines, convinced that I would flunk the bar, I had no plan. It
Okay.
was only when I came back here in the Philippines that the reality sunk in. I realized that I'm already a lawyer and I had no plan for my career as a lawyer.
And so, what was, what's the first job that you assumed as a law practitioner?
I I I became a striker. A striker, is a jargon for many lawyers. So one who appears for another lawyer who is not available.
So we call that striker. I've learned from
Because
that. I do
strike
not know
any
that.
because we would strike anywhere. Say, for
Okay.
example, a lawyer would call up and say, "I'm not available to appear in this hearing. Would you please, appear for me and in my behalf and represent the client?" I would do that. Also, uh, I did litigation for Attorney Capco. You
Pat-
may be familiar with Attorney Capco. He used to be the mayor of Pateros
Pateros.
City.
Mm-mm.
And Attorney Capco got very ill, so he was
So,
diagnosed.
Mayor Capco, no, he knows you. Mm.
Yes, he got very sick kasi he was diagnosed with cancer, and so he sought medications abroad. And all his cases were left to me. So
Okay.
I did court appearances for all the cases, for all the cases of his firm
Mm.
when he was not around. But when I accepted that job, I made it clear to the law firm, in the law firm, that I had a pending application in the National Bureau of Investigation.
NBI.
And when NBI calls me to report for duty, I would drop all the
Mm.
cases.
How long did you stay in NBI, sir?
5 years.
5 years. Oh. So, were you, did you enjoy your stint in NBI? Was it
Yes,
taxing? So,
yes and no. Because yes, because working in a law enforcement agency
mm,
has many perks.
yeah.
Like one, uh, we ano, one perk is a badge
Mm,
that you can show anywhere.
yeah. Oh,
I was able to drive my car even on a coding day.
mm.
Things like that. That's one of the perks in working in a law enforcement agency. No, because I always knew that I did not belong.
Okay.
that my personality, my personal
Yeah.
was not built for law enforcement.
Oh, yeah. Because you're very, congenial. You're so fun to be with. I mean, light and all. But then, what was the major factor that made you decide to finally leave NBI?
Uh, Better opportunity. When a better opportunity came along, better
Mm,
pay,
okay, which is
the control
where?
center of the Philippines.
Okay, so right now, what is your specific designation in CCP, sir?
I'm the chief legal counsel of CCP.
All right. Oh my gosh, so if you're the chief legal counsel of CCP, so what are the scope, I mean, of your work, scopes of your work?
Oh, well, I oversee the legal works in the
Mm,
office because basically I'm the boss in the office, in the legal office.
mm,
I work closely with the president. I
okay.
serve as his legal counsel, and I also serve in the board of trustees of CCP as the corporate secretary.
And sir, do you report with the situation right now? We're in a pandemic, so how often do you report to your office?
I work from home most of the week,
Mm,
but I would report to the office once in a while
okay.
because I have to sign a lot of papers.
Okay. And this is your first year, second year, third year in
Going on
CC?
first, going on. This is my 10th month.
Okay, that's nice. So the perks. What's now what are the perks of being, with CCP?
Well, I I don't get to enjoy the perks allegedly because all the shows in CCP are
Yeah.
halted because of the
Yeah.
quarantine. But when things go back to normal, that's one of the perks that I look forward to,
Mhm.
enjoying all the performances in
Yeah.
the center.
And normally, sir, know what I knew because before we were attempting to long time ago, we were attempting to produce a show, and we wanted CCP as the venue. I think the signatories we apply is the chief legal counsel, right? So
No,
if
no,
for
no,
ex-
no. I'm the first legal counsel in CCP. For many
um,
years, for 50 years, there was no lawyer in CCP.
really?
My
Okay.
office is a new creation. The
Okay.
president, Mr. Nick Lisaso, felt that his office, the office of the president, must have a lawyer. And
Mhm.
so they created the legal
Sir,
office.
when you applied to CCP, so I mean, what was that? Was it offered to you, or somebody referred you, or what?
Not being very happy in the
Mhm.
bureau, I was already looking for job opportunities. And so I came across an opening in Job Street.
Mm.
And so
So
I
you entered talaga without any connection at all, right? You
no,
you
no, no.
you really you know clinch the position on your own merit. That's nice. No? And sir, let's talk about your being a writer. Okay,
Yes.
right. So you won a Palanca Award. Could you please share that? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I won a Palanca in 1995 for a short story in Filipino. My short story was entitled Taguan, which became the better title of my very first anthology of short stories.
Okay. How long did you work on that winning material, sir?
Overnight.
Overnight. so galing. So you really wrote that purposely for Palanca, right?
Yes.
So and same question, like, were you expecting to win when you
No,
really?
I was not
Why?
expecting to win because who was I then at that time? I was an unknown teacher in a university that is not UP, not Ateneo, not one of the A1 universities in the Philippines. And the Palanca awardees would often come from UP,
Yeah.
yeah, from these universities. I think I was the first Palanca Awardee from University of Makati.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, and then the textbook, no? You're a textbook author, you're a textbook editor, etc. How many books have you written for, textbooks, and how many have you edited? A lot, right? So roughly, how many?
I lost count.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost count. I think more than 800,
Oh
more
my
than
God.
800 books
Yeah.
since, uh, or, but that's from the year 2000 up
Mm,
to the present.
yeah. So right now, sir, you're still working on other books or
I have several books coming out, but because of the pandemic, publication business is bad.
yeah.
It's not yet picking up. So the printing of those books was halted
Mhm.
because of the pandemic.
Sir, in NTC, you you you- you're still teaching in NTC?
No,
No.
not anymore. I decided to give up my teaching load in the National Teachers College since I joined the Cultural Center of the Philippines
Okay. So, but
because the workload does not allow me anymore to teach
so when you were teaching in NTC, you were handling graduate students, right?
college,
And
college MA and doctorate students.
okay, so what's the difference handling, undergrad and graduate students?
You know what? Teaching in college is like teaching high school students. You know, there's not much difference at all.
Mm.
But I like teaching MA students and doctoral students because uh, students tend to become more responsible.
Mhm.
And when students are more responsible, the teachers do not become irritable.
Mhm. Okay. So when you told NTC that you would be, leaving the post and all, what did they tell you?
No, no, they did not tell anything because every semester or every end of the school year, they would ask us to turn in a letter of intent,
Okay.
a letter of intent to teach for the following school year. I just did not submit a letter of intent. I think
Okay.
that's as good as
Okay.
telling them that
Yeah.
I'm not going to teach anymore.
Mhm. So, sir, let's talk about your love life.
Love life.
Love life. Okay.
Oh
So,
yes, sure.
when did you? I mean, right now, are you in love?
No,
Oh, really? Why? Because sir, the reason why I asked this is because I've been following your social media account. I've been following your Facebook, right? And then whenever you post something about your love life, the engagement is very high. I mean, your friends, your
that's for
followers.
fun.
Yeah,
That's for fun. I call it charot serye.
yeah, yeah, but then the engagement is very high. I mean, everybody reacts, everybody comments, and then I mean, it seldom happens to others, right? So, whenever you post something, even though it's just a one-liner, you generate a lot of comments and reactions. So, uh, that's why I mean, that's why I'm asking, when was the last time you really fell in love?
Love comes in varying degrees. I think you have to qualify your question.
And I mean, in love in such a way that you have a partner, you have a companion. Every time I mean, the partner is beside you like that.
2014.
2014, still so young.
2014, the year I passed the bar,
Okay.
was the year my partner and I broke up.
Oh my gosh, are we? 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So, meaning to say, for the past 7 years, your heart is free and available.
Yes, yes.
Oh, really? That's why in your charot serie, there were so many guys who were
I got
attempting to.
involved with one or two, persons after that, but nothing as serious as that one.
At the one in 2014. Was it the one in Singapore? Who is
Yes, yes.
based in Singapore? Ah,
He's based
okay.
now in
But
Singapore.
you remain good friends
Yeah,
after that.
we are good friends.
Do you
We would
consider
communicate once in
do
a
you
while.
consider that person as you know I think the the person who you really love so
The love
much
of
as
my life. I
really
would call him the love of my life.
which that person is very much aware of, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so
No,
that's nice.
nobody compares.
Na,
No, the relationship that I had after him suffered in comparison.
mm, mm. So it was a different level. Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, but you're not really
We were
looking
together
for
for more than 14 years.
14 years. So it's so strong, right? I mean,
And I
the
think I would not,
relationship, I
I
think,
feel, I feel I would not be able to meet
yeah,
someone
because
like that.
it transcends to a different level already, right?
Yes.
And but then, you don't, are you open to any relationship at this point? Because you're still too
Uh,
young. Mm.
I think not uh, unlike him. Because the bar has been set very high.
Yeah.
It would be,
Difficult.
although it's unfair to be looking for the qualities that I found in him in another person.
Yeah.
To me, it's pointless to enter in a relationship if it would not be like the one that I
Yeah.
had with
The
him.
same intensity.
Yes.
Yeah. So, sir, who do you consider as your, support system aside from your family? I mean, your group of friends. Because when I see your lives and your Facebook, series. I mean, there were like common people that common faces that I see. I mean, what is the participation of these people in your life? Really?
Well, I have a few circle of friends. I have friends at work. I have friends in law school. I have friends in UMAC. Uh, I
You have
have
friends
friends
in
in
TOSP.
TOSP, one of my friends, and in PNU.
Okay.
So
So,
I have many circle of friends, although I keep a small circle. I would
mm,
always keep a small circle.
so, sir, why did you? I mean, your lives. I mean, you were doing something like especially during the pandemic, wherein you were distributing foods to people on the street, right? What motivated you to do that? Because you could have just settled for another thing to do. And why? Because it's an effort and it's a bit risky also because you're going out distributing food. So what motivated you to do that? Mm.
That was last year when I
Yeah.
did an advocacy, uh, which we call Feed the Homeless.
Yeah.
Uh, when the pandemic hit last year, it hit hard the people who were homeless.
Mm.
And I felt that if we were struggling, the more that they were
Mhm.
struggling. Lucky were we because we had food on our table.
Yeah.
But these people had no work, had no home, had no food to eat. They really had nothing. And what I realized was, what I found out was, when the pandemic hit, uh, the more the the street dwellers
Mm.
appeared on the streets. More street dwellers
Okay.
were suffered. Uh, And so I felt I had to do something. At first, it was a personal initiative. You know, there was this friend of mine who had a canteen. They were, I saw her post that they were distributing food packs for our medical
Mm.
frontliners. And so I sent her a message if she would be willing to, to prepare food packs for me because I wanted to go around the city and distribute food packs to street dwellers that we see on the streets,
Mm.
the, living on the streets. And she was very touched by the gesture, and she said willingly, "Okay, okay, I will prepare the food packs for you. You don't have to worry for the bottled water. I will give you the bottled water for free."
Okay. And sir, initially it was, the money came out from your own
Yeah,
pocket.
from my pocket. But I thought I could not do that alone.
Mm.
So I solicited help from friends. I posted,
Yeah.
a call for help on my Facebook account, and and announced that I would be distributing food packs. But many people were afraid to go out then. So I had two friends who lived nearby,
Yeah.
who came here, and who
To
came
help
to the
you out.
rescue to help me out in distributing food packs. So I would just I would I drove around the city and distributed food packs. We enjoyed doing it the first three times,
Mm.
and we posted pictures on my Facebook account. And before I knew it, people were asking how to donate money,
Yeah.
how to
Okay.
help. A lot of people would want to help, but I did not want to receive the donation.
Mm. Yeah,
And
I saw like you posted like you pay directly to the canteen, something like that.
yes, yes, yes. So that was the arrangement. So I talked to my friend and asked her if she would be willing to accept donations. And then many people did.
That's
She
nice.
accepted the donations, and then she prepared the food packs, and she would just call me up, Bernie, yes, Mr. So and so, a former student of yours now, a friend of yours donated this amount. This is good for 300 packs
Mm.
of
My gosh.
food, lunch, or snacks.
Mm.
We will prepare the food tomorrow. Then we will go to your place and deliver
Mm.
the food.
And sir, what was what were the different areas that you explored?
At
So
first,
wherever.
our area of, we went around Quezon City at first, and then
Mm.
eventually we went to Manila and then Pasay City.
Okay, and then
Because
when.
the other donors made a request. The other
Okay.
donors made a request for us to go around this specific place because apparently they went out and they saw a lot of street dwellers there who were asking for help.
But
And
was it not so tiring on your part? You were
yeah,
the one driving and
it
all.
no, it was tiring, but it was also fulfilling.
Fulfilling. Yeah.
It was fulfilling.
So when did it?
There were
How long
days
did it
that
last, sir? How long did it last?
I think it lasted for about 3 months.
Okay. So
It
imagine,
only
no?
stopped when the quarantine was reclassified
Mm.
into into uh, into a general community quarantine, a GCQ, when people were allowed to go
To
out,
go
and
out,
so I had to go
start
back.
working.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is a noble project, sir. Okay. And sir, you don't. How do you see yourself in the next 5 years now that you somehow you totally left the academe, right? Because you are focused now
Yes.
in the practice of law. So do you foresee yourself that you would go back to the academe in the future, or you would spend the rest of your life in this profession?
The ultimate dream for me is to go back to the academy, not as a teacher, but as a lawyer.
Okay.
I want to do legal work in a state
Mm,
university or
okay.
in an academic institution.
Mm. Uh, so people view you as a very successful person. Of course, nobody's perfect, but then based on what you've accomplished, based on what you've undergone, definitely you're someone who could be an inspiration to a lot of people. No, so is there still something that as Attorney Bernal still longs for or wants to achieve in life?
Uh, well, I want to study abroad.
Still, huh? You still want to study?
Uh, I want to I want to be able to purchase a farm,
Mm,
but I want uh, I want a new car.
mm,
I want to travel the world,
mm,
but you know what? These are the things that I consider as bonuses in life.
mm.
Meaning to say, if I these are the things that if I don't get, if they don't happen, it's okay. I
Yeah.
wouldn't consider myself a failure.
Because at this point, can you consider yourself, sir, that you're you're stable, you're okay. I mean, you're
Yeah, I'm okay. If I die tomorrow,
mm,
I'm all right. I'm okay.
yeah, because
Because
uh,
I have already achieved so much in life, so much impact, so much, uh, more than that I have prayed and
yeah,
wished.
and not everybody could experience what you've
Espe-
accomplished, right?
Especially considering where I came from.
Yeah, that's why it's really an inspiration, no? That poverty is not a hindrance, really, no. If you're really determined to make it really good in life, and I know also you've helped a lot of people, friends, and then you assisted a lot of people, and yeah, they do appreciate that. I'm very sure of that. Uh, let's let's go back to our friends in 2SB because the last time when I interviewed Prof. Wendell Capili, he
Yes.
also mentioned something about you, your character. I mean, because you're a character according to him. So I asked him to give some messages to the TOSP. Who
Mhm.
among the TOSP, aside from me, no, you are very close with? You could still maintain your
Two
contact.
people, you and Bong.
Bong Canlas, yeah.
No, no, not Canlas.
Ah, who? Bong
Bong
Hemino? Is
from, yeah, from the province.
mm, up to now you
But I lost contact with him. I was trying
mm,
to, search for him on Facebook for his social media accounts, but I could not find him.
okay. So among the yeah, because Wendell didn't make it in the top 10, no? And then I asked him a question like where did you feel that you deserve to be in the top 10? What were you feeling when you were
Everybody
having
was deserving to be on the
yeah,
top
yeah.
10.
And then he
Any
said, of
one of
course.
us, any one of us 31
Mm,
could have been there.
yeah. And then Wendell said like, of course, somehow I was disappointed because I was expecting, but then I was so happy for those who made it in the 10. It was like that. And then uh, if you were, if you were to choose, for example, you're not part of the 10. I mean, you are a judge, or for example, not me, ah. Who would you choose among the 30 to replace your to occupy your spot in the top 10? Who didn't make it for those who didn't make it?
Richard did not make it, right?
Yeah, Sugkang. Yeah.
So,
So you prefer Richard? No, we don't have contact with him. No.
yes, because that the last thing I learned from him was that he was going abroad to pursue masters.
Mhm. How sure artistic I mean, because you are very talented, no, and for quite some time, of course, you haven't uh, given the opportunity to direct now pageants because you're very good at that, right? So you don't miss those days when you're coming up with production because I do miss watching you directing.
No, no. I, I,
I
I, I feel I'm done those things. Been
okay.
there, done that.
Okay. So uh, I also saw in some of your posts that you're such a very loving, uncle and brother to your family, right? I mean, so that's one aspect of your personality that I think people appreciate because in spite of the katarayan on the surface, I mean, you're really human and you really fight and support and love the people who matter to you, right? So, what is the softest side of Roland Bernales?
Well, I'm very family oriented.
Yeah,
Uh, my sisters, my nieces would always, they know that they can always come to me
yeah.
and seek financial help. They would just hear a word or two, nasty words. At the end of the day, I would still
Okay.
give them what they want,
Yeah.
what they need.
Okay. So, mahirap kalaban ng isang Roland Bernales. So, what would one thing that would really spark the fighting, that monster in you, no? I mean, uh, I will put it in Filipino, no? Ano yung isang bagay na magagawa sa iyo ng isang kaibigan mo na hindi mo kayang palampasin that would, surface the
You know what? I'm basically a very forgiving person. If you do me bad, I would feel bad. But if you apologize, if you make amends, I will
yeah,
forgive. But what I do not like is people uh, committing or
the same.
repeating the same mistakes over and
Yeah.
over.
Okay. Yeah.
That's one thing that I do.
Yeah, because it shows no based on the how people interact with you in Facebook, it shows no that you are such a very loving person. Ano mo yun? I mean, kasi uh, parang when you post something which is a bit mataray, I mean, people don't take it like negatively. I mean, they know where you're coming from. They know you. They support you. And I mean, there is that interaction, the
Eh,
flow. That it's so fun to read. Na kasi parang they really, they really support and they're with you with whatever sentiments that you have posted. So which only manifests na people really like you, no? Na they really love you. So
That's
what do you
nice
feel
to
about
know.
that?
That's nice to know
Oh, totoo 'yun. Kasi
that
I've been following your
people
post.
love me.
Mm,
I love naman a lot of people.
mm. So
I always believe that love begets love. When you give out. I may not be showy,
yeah.
but
Mm.
you know,
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I
I
make
have
it a
my
point to express my
yeah.
love for people in simple ways that I
Yeah. And also another side of you, I think many people know this is that you're funny. You're
can.
witty funny.
Witty
Kaya,
funny.
oo, kaya ngayon nga
I
medyo,
like
oo,
making fun of myself.
oo. Tapos natutuwa ako when I see some of your lives before na talagang you were really making you make people happy by with your friends when you make fun of your friends when you all these things. This is fun. I just hope that you continue doing that, although I know you will be very busy. And then does it does it affect ba na because I'm the chief legal counsel of CCP, I should minimize doing such lives? Does it? Hindi
I,
naman.
I don't feel that pressure, because we have different persona naman, right?
Mm.
At work, you exude this, I exude this certain persona. But in my social media accounts, I'm totally a different person.
Yeah. That's why. Oo. Kaya nga, kaya that's why. I was just so curious to know na will it matter if you will still continue, being you and the fun side of you, and then because
Or
it's
I think that in my social media accounts, I'm more personal. I'm more fun, but still within the bounds of decency.
yeah. And also kasi I mean sometimes not sometimes, more often than not, you have some posts na I thought I was reading it seriously and then at the end there's a boom. So that's very funny and witty. I find it like that. But I was already affected. No, while I was reading, I was totally engrossed with your post. And then at the end, there's a catch.
Twist.
So, ang galing-galing niya. Ang ganda. I mean, I find it so fun. And then I always share it to my family, my friends. And look, you read this. And then talagang they had the same reaction with me. Nakakatuwa. And that's a sign of you being a witty person talaga, di ba? Kasi it's not easy to do. I mean, not everybody could do that kind of, di ba? Ayun. So ngayon, Sir Berns, what's your message? Ito marami to ha. What's your message first to your UMAC family? Kasi up to now, I'm in contact with some UMAC people and they still say good things about you pa rin up to now kasi
Mm.
they remember the help that you accorded to them.
Well, one is, I miss them. I'm still friends with a lot of them. I'm a godfather to their children. You know what? As a godfather, as a ninong, hindi ako nakakalimot. I don't forget to give my
And you have so many inaanak.
godchildren. I have plenty of inaanaks
Oh,
from Yuma.
yeah.
Every year, I always make it a point to send my inaanaks Christmas gifts. Uh, that's although the UMAC chapter of my life is over,
Mm.
but my friendship with the people in UMAC remains.
Yeah. Sa mga students mo sa UMAC.
You know what? I don't remember a lot of students.
Mm.
Uh, I only remember those a few. But I'm surprised to find out that they remember me.
Of course. Yeah, okay. So, ang NTC community mo, kasi nakikita ko rin, I mean, they were also, reacting also to your Facebook
Yes.
message, yung mga NTC people and students. So, message to them. Now that you're no longer teaching there.
When I miss NTC also, because that's the last school I taught in. But once in a while, I still find myself involved in activities in NTC because I still have a number of advices.
Okay.
It's a
So you're
commitment that
still
I
in
make
contact with them.
to see through their graduation. So I'm still involved in some academic activities in NTC, like thesis defense, dissertation defense of my advices.
So you still have time for that, no?
Yeah, because
Oo.
this is a commitment that I made prior to
Mm.
this.
Okay. Sa mga ka-classmates mo sa law school.
Well, I miss my classmates in law school.
Mm.
Law schooling was difficult, but what made me see through law schooling was my classmates, my friends in law
Yeah.
school. I had plenty of friends in law school. In fact, all of my classmates were friends of mine.
Yeah. I had an opportunity to meet one group of your law classmates a long time ago when you invited me to meet you in Chowking yata, in Chowking in San Joaquin. You had a group of law students, I mean law classmates that I met. I do not know if you could still remember that. Pero I could still remember it. So, ayun. How about naman, Sir Berns? Sino yung, I mean, is there someone uh, that you haven't met or you haven't been in contact with that you miss at this point? So, Berns, nawala ng sound. Your sound is, hello? Can you hear me? Yeah, but I cannot hear you. Your sound is lost. Hello?
So,
Ayun, okay. So,
I
again,
can really,
oh,
meron na.
yeah, meron na. Okay.
Yeah.
Nawala siya. When you were answering that person that you miss, bigla siyang
I cannot no, I cannot think of a person, a specific person that I haven't met that I miss right
wala na.
now.
Kasi naman siguro, kasi nga because somehow, some way, you have a way, I mean, you could contact still the person.
Yeah, that's one good thing about
Yeah,
social media is because we have a way of contacting people. Imagine before it would take 5 days for a letter to arrive.
correct.
Now, it's real time. You can send
Mm,
a person a
yeah.
message across the globe.
Exactly. Now we could easily,
Yeah.
have video calls, so it's so nice. No, if there's one country that you haven't visited yet, what country is that?
Actually, it's not a country, it's but a continent. I want to go to Europe.
Europe. Okay.
I
But
want to
the
go to every country in Europe.
yeah, kasi it's easy, no? Na once you're in one country, you could go to
Yes,
another
because
country. The
landlocked country.
Schengen visa, right?
Yeah.
So, if there's, I mean, among the countries that you visited, which one do you want to go back?
The US.
US.
I want to go back to US. I want to go to US over and over again. Because you know what US represents to me the American dream.
Yeah,
Uh,
okay.
to me, US is um, to me US is everything that um, our childhood uh, that our childhood made us dream of.
Yeah, that's true.
Also, I like going to places that I've seen in movies.
Okay.
That's
And
why
you,
I like to go to the US and see places that I've seen.
but you never dreamt of, I know, settling in the US. You just want to visit
No,
US. Mm,
I've seen the lives of many Filipinos there. Our friends are doing good in the US
yeah.
but there's really no place like
Mm.
even the Filipinos who have a good life in the US.
When you went to the US during the time when the result of the bar exam came out, was it your first time
No,
in
that
the
was my
US?
second time.
Yeah, because I think your first time was when you were invited to give a talk to a certain school by your friend or something.
Yes,
Yeah, I could still remember that. So, but you were able to explore more in your second visit.
yes, because I went to about 8 states, seven
Mm,
or 8 states.
yeah.
The second time again. My first time in the US, I only stayed in California and in Arizona.
Mm,
But my second time, I went interstates.
okay. So, sir, are you still interested with the development of the beauty pageants in the Philippines?
Oh,
I mean, what is your take on our representative, Rabia Mateo?
well, I sure hope that she wins, but I don't think she's got what it takes to become the next Miss Universe. Parang hila.
Mm-mm. Yeah, let's just hope she would make it, right?
Yeah.
And
But
especially now that, other countries are really trying to prepare for, pageants, no? They really,
yes,
um, I see. Uh, Message to your family.
well, I love them.
Oh,
That's one thing. I love my family. To me, they're my life.
okay. And to your, what do you call this? Uh, to Mr. Singapore.
Well, well, I'd like to thank him for the memories.
So sweet. Sweet naman. Oo. Nakakatuwa. Oo. Pero, I'm sorry to discuss about him, but is he married now or still single?
He's not married, but he's living with someone.
Okay. And of course, because you transcend your love na kasi, di ba? Parang your
Yes.
relationship is on a different level. You were not hurt anymore, no? When he settled for
No, not.
galing.
I was ready. I was ready. In fact, I saw it coming already. I knew that we were heading that direction. Yung, for our relationship. I felt our relationship had to evolve into something else,
Okay.
into being like
Sir,
our
Sir
friends.
Berns, you haven't missed your apartments in Makati. Yeah,
Makati.
di ba? You stayed in, I think, as far as I could remember, around two or more than that. Kasi I've been to two apartments of
Yeah,
yours in Makati.
in Makati.
Or meron pa after, apart
Yeah,
from those two.
after that, after staying in an apartment in Makati, I bought a townhouse in Pasig. Were
Mm.
you there in my
Ay,
townhouse in Pasig?
yeah, the Pasig one. I haven't been there, but you showed me the photos of the
Oh,
Pasig, the one that you bought. You bought it first as dyan sa condo, di ba? Yun ang nauna.
yes, yes.
Oo.
That was my first
So who's
acquisition.
staying there?
Somebody's renting the townhouse.
Okay. Parang
I
maganda rin.
stayed there for 10 years.
Parang
No, no,
maganda din.
for 5 years.
Kasi parang nakita ko yung ano niya, parang maganda rin siya eh, di ba? Oo.
Yeah.
Pero yung condo mo right now, yan ang gusto ko. Kasi napaka-cozy. Ang
My,
cute-cute ng ayos niya, di ba? Oo.
I like staying in a condo kasi, compact, maliit lang. It's a small
Tsaka it's your
space.
own. Talagang it's your world, di ba?
And I'm near everything that I need. Like, the, if I need to go to a doctor for a checkup, it's just across the street. The church is just a block away. Work
Yeah.
is 15-minute drive.
Mm,
With the groceries just downstairs. I
exactly.
have everything that I need around the car.
Yeah. How I wish this pandemic will end really really soon, no? So
Yeah.
that we could, kasi I haven't been to the Philippines for the almost 4 years now. So how I wish na I could have a break, a vacation there, and I will have a sleepover there in your
Sure, oo nga, no? Or me
uh,
going to Indonesia again. I
yeah.
have not seen your place the
Oo,
last
kasi
time
right now
you
my
were
place is
in.
much better as compared to the first time that you came here. Kasi right now I'm having a two-bedroom unit na tapos I mean I could really accommodate you unlike before, remember.
Yeah.
You were forced to rent a hotel kasi parang it's so difficult to stay in my place.
But but you're still in Jakarta, right?
Yeah, it's still in Jakarta, but before I was in North Jakarta, 'di ba? But now I'm in the West.
West part of
West.
Jakarta. By the way, you asked earlier if there's one place that I would want to go to. I want to go to Bali.
Yeah, Bali.
But
Would
before
would you
going to Bali, of course, I want to go to Jakarta
Yeah,
and meet
exactly.
them.
At
See,
saka I think you have to explore Borobudur. Oo.
Borobudur is
In
that's.
Jogja.
I think I saw pictures of ruins in
Mm,
Borobudur.
yeah. So there are a lot of things that kasi when you came here, you were not able to explore a lot of places talaga pa. Kasi I was new also, right?
Yes.
Yes, I couldn't really assist you in touring, etc., etc. And then I could still remember the poem that you created, that you composed, the Palanca poem. Oh my gosh.
You were having issues then
Yeah, and
with
then
your
remember I was
Filipino workmates.
yeah, and I was even applying to another school and you assisted me. Imagine
Oo nga, I remember that.
tapos tapos I
You
was
went
just
job hunting and
tapos I was just after my class, I would just visit you to your hotel. Tapos, I mean, you explored on your own. It's so
no, yeah.
funny.
I
Like,
went to do fun
oo,
on
parang,
my own.
what kind of host I am? Imagine yung host ko nag-explore on his own. No, that's why I really wanted to make Bawi nga. Sana na if there will be the opportunity na if things get better, sana parang I could prepare a red carpet for you.
But when I go back there, you have to come with me to Bali.
Yeah, that's why that's actually my plan. And next time, if Sir Berns will be coming over, I will prepare everything for him. Parang the itinerary and everything.
Oh
Dapat
my God,
ganon.
I'm excited to do that.
Oo. Kaya, ayun.
So, I'm going to pray hard that this pandemic be
Yeah.
over soon.
Mm. Let's just pray no na it will end soon, soon, soon talaga. So Sir Burns, you're really an inspiration. Without you knowing it
Thank
talaga,
you.
you I might not be vocal about it, but then when I read posts from you, na ano ko, it lightens my mood. Talagang it gives me happiness, it gives me joy na nakakatuwa na sometimes I'm so stressed and then all of a sudden I will chance upon your post na nakakatuwa. So without you knowing it, talagang you ano talaga, you lift spirits. So
That's
thank
the
you.
point. That's the point.
And also, I would like to thank you kasi ano, we've been through a lot in terms of our friendship,
Yeah,
but still up to now, we're here. Di
of
ba?
course.
Nakakatuwa lang. At saka, the good thing about us is that uh, I mean, we've been to a lot of, mga differences, pero we learn how to forgive, we learn, and walang nagbabago. Parang, ganun pa din yung intensity ng care, ng friendship that I keep in my heart. Ganun pa rin siya eh. Parang walang, hindi katulad ng iba kasi di ba natipaint na, halimbawa, na lamatan na, may mga ganun-ganun. Sa atin, hindi. Hindi ganun sa atin eh. Parang iba talaga yung level. No? So siguro, we're really destined to be friends. Hindi naman tayong friends na laging magkasama. We're not the friends na laging magkausap. But then, we always pick up na parang as if yesterday lang tayo magkausap. Tapos eto, diretso lang. Di ba?
You
Parang
know what?
ganun.
One thing I've realized: real friends need not talk every day. Need not see
Yeah,
each other very often. Because
exactly.
yung friends mo na that you really keep,
Mm,
uh, real friends who are really for kids.
yeah,
These are the people that you don't get to see every day. You don't get to talk very
yeah,
often. Like
exactly.
my best friend is in the US. Two of my best
Mm,
friends are in
yeah.
the US.
Kasi nga ano, I noticed that we sometimes we've been preoccupied with our respective works, but we know that once we communicate with each other, you're there. You will reply. You will. I mean, di ba parang ganun eh. So which is feeling ko not everybody's like that. No, parang kaya parang I consider our friendship really on a special level. Then it's on a different ano level, no. Kaya natutuwa ako.
Same
Kaya
here.
I would
Same
like to thank you for that. Tsaka marami kong utang sa'yo, Sir Berns. Nape-pressured ako kay Andy. Ikaw, Andy,
Si
nape-pressure.
Ate, di padala
Kung
ng padala.
magpadala ka dyan, bonggang-bongga, na-stress tuloy ako. Pero nag-iipon ako dito, don't worry.
Hayaan mo na yun si Andy kasi naman, alam mo naman,
Yeah.
parang
Pero
bang,
si Sir Andy rin was,
it's his way of expressing his gratitude.
yeah, he's
Because
so, yeah, he's so thankful
I
to
was
you
able to
talaga.
help him uh, in several occasions.
Exactly, oo. Yun nga, isa pa si Andy dun sa nagsilbing nag-connect palalo sa atin eh, di ba? Oo,
Yeah.
parang nakakatuwa. So, Sir Burns, I would like to thank you for, I know you're such a busy person, but still, you really spared your time with me. So,
My honor, this.
you will learn something from your sharing talaga. People will really learn from the life itself eh. It's an inspiration in itself talaga. So ako nga, while I was listening to you na, oh my gosh, I do not know if what yung pinagdaanan mo sa law school, sa pagiging doktor, etc., yung high school, parang I couldn't imagine myself na kaya ko yon. Galing, 'di ba? So that's the real inspiration. I hope people who will watch this will really extract something from your sharing, and I'm so thankful. So I owe
Okay.
you. I owe you. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, dear. Thank you also.
You.
Thank you for thinking about me.
Yeah.
To be